Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here and welcome back to another episode of Glory Hunter. Here in episode number 22 or 23, I can't remember which number it is now. We have got the off-season here. We are in charge of West Ham, but things may be drastically changing. We have obviously won the league and we have won the Conference League here in charge of West Ham, but we are looking to see if a job comes available. We weren't expecting too much manager movement at the end of the season. We have been looking through and not much has changed, but on the 15th of June, a bombshell has been dropped at PSG, and well, this is going to cause some snowball effects, and we are waiting, ready to snap up a job in the process. So PSG's manager just there as well has decided to retire from football and the PSG job is available. They have got Pep Guardiola, who's currently unemployed, Ancelotti at Real Madrid, and Tuchel as the favourites for the job. Now, I do think Pep is the one that ends up getting there, which stops a little bit of the merry-go-round. But if it doesn't, then look, there is jobs available. On top of that too, Leipzig, who are viewed as the third best team in Germany, finished 7th and don't have any European football next year, have the job available as well. Now, I will say, the one thing I will say about that job there is I think the team's in a not bad spot, but there would be a lot of work that needs to be done to it. Being not in Europe, it would be the first I'll just look to knock off the DFB Pokal straight away, and it's probably a job I'll look to jump away from and then look to come back to Germany at a later time, maybe try and get one season and see what happens. But Real Hippus is the interesting one. We have a look at the Spanish First Division season preview. They're predicted to finish 7th. They finished 6th. They've actually got European football. They've got Europa League football for next season. If you go to transfers and histories and staff, unattached, Manuel Pellegrini decided to retire from football as well, I do believe, and has walked away from that job. So if that's the case, I have put my name down because going to Spain and being in the Europa League is huge, because that is a competition we have to win. And I would do everything in my power to make a couple of signings to win the Europa League and really focus on it. But yeah, it makes things very, very interesting that we won't be staying at West Ham for the foreseeable future by the looks of it. So, in short, we have a lot to talk about in terms of where we might end up. PSG, don't worry, our name's already in the hat. Leipzig, I have put my name down, but they haven't offered me an interview. And same with Hippus. I am not favourites for any of those jobs, I do not think. We are, as you can see here, have got Pep, Marciano, and then someone called Emery. By the way, Ange Postecoglou predicted to get the Porto job. Not looking to go to Porto unless Porto were, doing whatever and top of in the Europa League would be the only reason we go to it. The Valencia job's there, but I wouldn't go for it if the Hippus job's available, being that they're in Europe and Valencia finished 8th and not. Lucky last as well. I know that he's now signed a new deal. Jose finished 8th in Serie A and had some interest on leaving, or he was insecure and allowed me to declare interest for the job. I did declare interest Roma about 4 days later and signed into a new deal. So unfortunate, because I would have walked into that team with Trossard, Simeone, Dybala, and yeah, I would have been like, yeah, I could do some business there with Roma as well in Italy. But look, what we're going to do is we're going to sim forward and sim through and see what happens. And hopefully we get an interview or two. And who knows, we might be looking at leaving West Ham here in a not too distant future. And if we don't get any of the jobs, I'll just stick around and wait for more managerial merry-go-rounds to continue. But what we really want is my application's already been rejected by PSG. That sucks. But yeah, the search new videos ongoing with the teams. So why? Despite an ongoing shortlist straight for other candidates. So they reckon I would have fit, but I'm not a bigger profile name, which is unfortunate. Okay, but that job's still available. Now, look, we really, really, really need to hope that... we can't reapply, obviously, for it. We really, really need to hope that PSG choose one of... Look, Thomas Tuchel would be brilliant, because I think walking straight into that Atletico job, then yeah, we've been getting these a lot as well. That the board's been getting upset, but it doesn't seem to make too much difference on FM if they get upset like that, so that's fine too. But look, who would you go to? Obviously, PSG would have been great. Would you go to Hippus? Would you go to Real Hippus just because they're in the Europa League? I think that makes a lot of logical sense. The Europa League's a lot harder to win now. It goes to this league format. So I think getting to a side that is in that league form that's massive. They also have a decent squad that they might be able to make an assault at the Spanish Cup as well. And then obviously Leipzig's probably one where you just go there and know you're probably finishing the top 4 in the season after, or else you're getting the sack anyway. So you're probably not going to get a shot to win the Europa League. But without any international football, European football, maybe Leipzig's the sort of side that you just play your best team week in, week out, and you win the competition. Who knows? So look, without further ado, we're going to end this part of the video here, and we'll see you back for any potential future interviews or other jobs we might apply for as well. Leipzig interview. Here we go. By the way, we had Hippus saying that we're leading candidates, but because I'm in charge at West Ham and they want a big compensation, they might not go for me. Wanted at the minute, though, by Leipzig, which is great. How many years have I got left on my deal? 2026. So 2 years. It's not too much compensation, I don't think, either. Anyhow, I'm going to attend the interview here. Let's get started. Lack of experience. I have a good track record. Why do you want to move out? It's time for me to take the next step, to be fair. And it feels acceptable applying for other jobs. On the occasion, I wasn't enjoying myself on a fresh start. I feel that I've it's said when you consider how long I've been in management. That's fine. I haven't really done that. I'm merely considering my options. The club are looking for a candidate to perform to competition is something our last manager did not do. My record speaks for itself. My record speaks for itself. It's true. I just overperformed. I'm happy to work with him. Alright, so what's the vision? Playing high tempo, playing attacking work, increase the commercial revenue. Don't know how we do that. Maintain the best youth system in the... Apparently they do. Maintain the best youth system in the world. That's good. Reach the later stages of there. Qualify for the Champions League. Reach the later stages of the Pokal, which I will be doing. And looking to become the best of the rest. I think that's an exciting vision. Look, I agree with that. 33 mil. I think it's realistic, and that's realistic. No thanks. All right, I wonder how that went. That's interesting. I wonder if the Hippus now are going to come in because we applied from very similar. I think out of the two jobs, I prefer Hippus just because they're in the Europa League, which I know sounds crazy. No, that sounds crazy, but I think I want Hippus. Don't get me wrong, I think Leipzig would be a pretty good job, but I think I want Hippus. PSG available, can't apply for it, applied. Any other jobs insecure out of nowhere? Not really. The Euros are on at the minute. We will be looking to apply for a international job as well at some stage, because that's something we need to do. Be interesting to see which ones come around. We are a 4-star manager, so we should get a fairly good international job off the bat. But yeah, interesting. Don't know if anything's going to happen here with Hippus. We're going to stay with this just for a second. I really do think I'm leading Hippus. What would you do? Would you stay? Would you stay just trying to win the FA Cup? I just think that the way the English Premier League is, there's going to be a time where Chelsea or United or Liverpool City just drop off the boil for 1 year and the job will come available. Be like, yep, that's the job, and you go win the FA Cup, and then you just leave again. Because it's the only thing we need to win in England. I think it's easier enough to come back. Just going to check again my profile here. It should still just say wanted by there. I'm hoping Hippus come around at some point. And we'll check the job security screen once more, just in case there's another job. Alright. PSG job is no longer up. Have they made a selection? Pep Guardiola. That was the worst one that could happen because Pep didn't have a role for the last year. So there's no one left from Atletico or from Real Madrid or whatever, which is unfortunate because we needed that to happen to start that managerial effect. Now it's Leipzig or it's Hippus or it's nothing. We stay at West Ham. Be interesting to see what happens now. Can you tell that I don't really move jobs too much in Football Manager? Apparently the compensation's massive, and Real Hippers do not want to consider me, and it's my preferred role because of that. Now, if I resign, I don't know what that does, but I'm going to ask the board to reduce the compensation. All right, they're actually going to do it, which is fair. They're going to respond in the near future. All right, that's interesting. So they talked it down. West Ham taking this like a champ. I really feel bad doing this to West Ham. I'm not going to lie. This is where the Leipzig job comes around, right? And they don't offer me something. The Euro's going on in the background. But, yeah, we've at least taught West Ham to reduce the thing. I've given me a job interview straight away. Right. No problems at all. Relatively easy language to learn. Very similar to Italian anyway. I have a good track record. Time for me to take the next step. Trying to forge ahead in my career. Happy to work with him. I don't need a budget. They want to play attacking football. Develop people for the youth system. Make the most of set pieces, which we generally do okay. Sign under 23 players for the first team, which... Work within the wage budget. Seems all perfectly acceptable. That's fine. I'm good, thanks. All right, that was a fairly easy job interview there from Raul Hippus as well. I'm really leading towards the Raul Hippus job. Like, Leipzig would be good, but I just feel like that Leipzig job will come up again. And I feel like Leipzig's very similar to Hertha Berlin. That's very similar to a few others as well. But yeah, I just think that the Raul Hippus job, because they're in the Europa League, is massive. Now, in saying that, if we don't win the Europa League, Leipzig would have been a better choice. But just because they're in the Europa League, I do think that it's a better role. Let's see what happens. We're in the running for both. In big developments, Leipzig have decided I'm not the manager for them. Did the interview process, but they've decided to go with Niko Kovac, who is going to take the job. Very good manager, to be fair. If we go to milestones, he left Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg finished 18th. They didn't finish 18th. Where did they finish last year? Let's find out. Wolfsburg finished second in the Bundesliga. Hold up. Really? Was that so? Wolfsburg finished second in the Bundesliga and second again. Their best player is Maximilian Arnold, who's not bad, don't get me wrong, but how have they finished second and second? Season preview, where are they meant to finish? 5th. Interesting that they have the job. How much money have they got finance-wise? 194 million in the balance. Job interview, declare interest, apply for job. Done. Now, they're in the Champions League, but that is a job where... how did they go in the Cup last year in the DFB Pokal? They got knocked out in the Europa League first knockout round and then finished second. Champions League, they got knocked out in the group stage. DFB Pokal, they got knocked out in the second round of Hoffenheim. Interesting. Still reckon Hippus is in the lead. But there you go. Straight away. This is the merry-go-round of world football. Wonder who is the favourite for Hippus. Marceliano. He's in the running for a few jobs, this guy. One at the minute by. Raul Hippus as well. Interesting. I think the Hippus job's the one we want. If we're leaving West Ham, which it looks like I'm laying in my bed right now. I'm putting myself into every other job. It's the merry-go-round has started. I would have rathered Leipzig because they're not in Europe at all. But with the Wolfsburg and the money they have, I could make a couple of sells and then spend a lot of money there, make him into a very competitive squad. I would imagine with 194 million in the bank, they're going to have some large chunk of finances as well. We don't particularly care about any of that as well. Purposely not renewing Kurt Zuma's contract with 12 months to go because I'll know if I move, Kurt Zuma could be someone that I try to pinch on a bit of a cheaper deal because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Interesting time, huh? I wonder what we can do. Raul Hippus approached me. I think this is the job, boys. I've done that while most people are away. Hippus approach. Play attacking football. Qualify for the Conference League next year. So, like, they're happy with me finishing in the Champions League. They've only got 13.5 mil budget. 875k wage. Keep the director of football in place. So there's not much money to really spend there at Hippus. But do they have some sellable assets? What about OJ Neeson thing? Pizzella's not a bad centre back, but he's getting a bit old. Victor Ruiz is old. Vinicius. William Cavallaro is very good, still very decent. Borja Valeria. Milihovic. So there's a lot of older fellas here. William Jose at 32 wanted. Nabil Fekir, 25 to 32 mil, is outrageously good. I would imagine this is the reason why where they are. Is Fekir being Fekir. He only played 12 games last year. Need to make sure he stays fit. Do they have any, like, prospects? Their best prospect is an Englishman keeper. He actually looks really good. Maybe an English team would take him. But he looks like a fantastic keeper for the future. A 37-year-old just left as well. Interesting. I think there's a lot of work to do there, but we know that they're in the Champions League, in the Europa League. Oh, I think we want the role. Finish 6th. They haven't had their league click over, so we might get more money. They were predicted to finish 8th in a 4-4-2, which I wouldn't play. Average age at squad's 29. They are needing some rebuild. Thing is, in 4 years, we get 4 years per thing. We're saving ourselves a year in England, even though we'd have to go back at a later date. I think in Glory Hunter, you want a better job, but I feel like going to Hippus and doing a good job would then lead to me doing okay. I finished 6th. They finished 6th. They finished 1 point outside the Champions League on coefficient because they get 5 teams there. I think we take this job and we just go hell-bent for the Europa League. Here we go. Brand new job. We're on the move. The goal to win the Europa League. We take charge. Straight away, we're loading up the West Ham 4-3-3. And we're going to load up the Paris 13 Atletico 4-2-3-1. And there we go. That is the system that we will play. Next episode, we're going to walk through Hippus, go for a big deep dive about what this team needs, and see what we can do. We probably need to make a sale or two. Be very interesting to see what happens. Here we go. And every month, that's fine. There we go. Why is Fakir unhappy? Wants to leave the play in the Champions League. I wouldn't stand in his way at 32. I think I would. Alright. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Is that the right decision? You let me know. Raul Hippus, huh? We move. We're targeting the Europa League. I think we can do it. I think after they finish 6th, we can go with a very good draw and win the Europa League. I personally think that, but it'd be very interesting to see if we keep this squad. It's kind of now or never with this squad because they're so old. But hopefully there is some young kids coming through somewhere. Oh, they do indeed. They've got a couple of young fellas coming through at centre-back. Yeah, okay. We've got some very good young kids. This keeper, by the way, could be starting. Right, we're going to go... There's a 15-year-old keeper too. That's even better from Spain. Wow. Okay, what about the B team? No one of note there. Raul Hipper C team. The 16-year-old winger. All right. And a 16-year-old attacking midfielder. Oh, he's a baller. He can pass a ball and he can move. All right, lads. I think we've got not a bad team. We've got some young kids there too. All right. Next episode, we're going to go break that down. Would you have chosen Hippus? Let me know in the comment section down below. What would you have done? It's a brave move. It's a bold move. I think sometimes in Glory Hunter, you might be a bit scared to do these moves. But look, what's the worst thing that happens? We spend a couple of years here trying to build up a team and then we move. Obviously, the Europa League is where we need to go. But you're telling me right now, we build the team. We get a few of these young kids playing. We get some better players in. We finish 6th again. And we attack the Europa League next year. So be it. I think the worst thing that be happen is have a nothing year and finish 5th and achieve nothing this season. But there we go. Raul Hippus. See you guys next episode to break them down as a team. See you then. Thank you and goodbye.